This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let's bring our friend Anthony Chiang on board. Anthony_Chiang. Follow him at the Miami Herald. Anthony, how you feeling, my friend?
I'm doing good, Big O. How are you? I'm glad to be back.
You feeling better?
Much better. Yesterday I started feeling better. The kid is back in school, which means the colds and all the illnesses and all that stuff is back. So
okay,
yeah, with the back.
I live with a teacher, bro. So trust me, that's why I take my Nature B, bro. I stay away from colds as much as possible with that stuff. By the way, the tickets for the doubleheader of the volleyball match in Nebraska range from $27 to $405 on SeatGeek. And the university provided 40 to 50 shuttle buses from parking areas around to get the fans to the stadium. That's crazy, dude. Did you see that volleyball game yesterday? 92,000?
I saw photos of it, and that's just – I covered women's volleyball at UF, the student paper.
Mm-hmm.
I thought – I mean, I kind of fell in love with the sport. It was really cool just to watch and just the skill involved. But to see a crowd that big to watch a college women's volleyball game was just – it's insane. It's crazy to see.
What do you got, Sean?
The ticket price to get into a Nebraska Cornhusker football game. Do you know how much those start at?
$15?
$16.
16. Wow. So women's volleyball outdraws football. That's I never thought I'd ever say that about Nebraska, bro. I mean, wow, dude. How the mighty have completely fallen, crushed. What?
This is not the Cornhusker segment, so I apologize, Anthony. But last year, the Nebraska volleyball team turned a $1 million profit for the university.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's impressive. Because those are loser sport, not the sport being loser.
Right.
Financially, relax, folks out there. I love volleyball too, by the way.
Yeah,
I've always been a volleyball fan, men or women. I've always enjoyed volleyball.
It's a fun sport. Sport.
Hell yeah, Karch Kalai and all that back in the day. I used to watch. Sinjin Smith, I think, was the name of the one of the other famous volleyball players. I remember all of that. I always used to follow the pro tour of volleyball. All right, let's get into it. I would imagine the clock starts ticking now in this month because I kind of think this whole Lillard thing is going to happen by the end of the month. You know, I think in that last week leading up to training camp, they'll finally all come to their senses. Portland will say, we don't want this drama here.
Sure.
And then eventually they give in. What do you think is going to happen?
That's been my prediction this entire time. And nothing really has happened for me to change my prediction, right? I mean, there's been really no development other than, I guess, Damian Lillard doing an interview with Mark Spears and saying that there is a trade request in, right? Other than that, like, there hasn't been anything that's changed. It's been really quiet. So I do think in September, usually after Labor Day, things start to pick up a little bit in the NBA. More players are working out in the facilities. So I think in September, we'll see a little bit more movement. And I have to think, I mean, I just don't see Damian Lillard on Portland's roster when camp starts. Like, it's just hard to imagine. I mean, yes, could it happen? Could Portland pull in Indianapolis and say, we're not going to trade him, we're going to keep him here unless we get exactly what we want? I guess they could, but it's a little bit of a different situation because Damian Lillard he's arguably the greatest player in franchise history over there. So I would think they would want to do things a little bit right by him and kind of not end this messy.
It's a bad look for them too. It's a bad look for them.
I know people will say that's overrated, but I do think that matters. And Jonathan Taylor, he's a young player, third year in the NFL, I think. So it's a totally different situation from that standpoint. So I do think Portland will they'll find a way to resolve this. And it just seems like everything points to the Heat because it's like the only team he wants to go to. So I just, that seems like the logical resolution.
And all this stuff that people throw out there, that there's some talk or that they want to include, that they don't want to include Tyler, this, that. Are you believing any of that stuff going on right now?
No, because I think the only untouchables on the roster are Bam and Jimmy. And I've heard that Caleb too, that they don't want to include Caleb either. But is he completely untouchable? I'm sure not, right? I mean, if it has to get done that way, maybe that does happen. But I think Bam and Jimmy really are the only untouchables. So
I would not trade Caleb, dude. He's
I don't think they
the
want
one
to.
guy that has the potential to be
Yeah.
Really, really good player for you, dude.
And he would fit well around those guys. He would fit well around those three, right? This kind of Swiss Army knife guy that could plug a bunch of holes, plays defense, can shoot, just does a bunch of different things to help you. So it's hard for me. As much as it would be great for the Heat to keep Tyler and get Lillard, right? That'd be great. you keep one of your best scorers and add another one of the best scorers in the league as well. It's hard for me to imagine that trade getting done without Tyler Herro being included. It just is. I mean, from a salary component, from a logical component, like it just doesn't really make sense.
You've made 2 runs the last 2 years without him, dude.
Yeah, there's
Let's
that.
just
too.
be honest now.
There's that too.
Let's just
There's
be
that
honest. You've proven over and over again you really don't need him because you've done a marvelous job of finding some other pieces like Caleb. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I like about Caleb is that he has Jimmy Butler qualities, and yet he's a better outside shooter than Jimmy too, on top of all of that. So that's what I like about him. So when you do have Jimmy banged up or resting, he could run with Damian, and I think Damian would make his freaking life even easier, bro.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
And he proved last year that he can play the 4. Whether fans like it or not, he can play the 4 in certain spots in certain matchups, right? He can play the 4, he can play the 3, he can play the 2. He can guard pretty much 1 through 4 for the most part.
I just don't want to wear out his body like that.
I don't disagree with you, but as a weapon, when you need to turn to that and you need to play small, he can play at that spot.
I get it. Yeah, if it's in a pinch like that that you're trying to counter something really quickly, okay, I get it. But I'm not for doing what they did night in and night out for a stretch. I think that took a toll on him actually last year.
Yeah, and look,
you know what I mean?
and not to go back into the past, but against Denver size killed them, right? So I think the Heat have made an emphasis to get a little bigger this offseason. We've kind of seen that. So I would be a little bit surprised if Caleb is the starting 4 this year, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm actually very impressed how they reloaded in the paint and the backup center spot. I thought that was actually some really smart moves this offseason for them, because that was something that they really mishandled last year. They really did.
Yeah, and they lost year 7, but to add a guy like Thomas Bryant at the minimum, who was
I love it.
In LA before he went to Denver mid-season, he was putting up good numbers as a consistent rotation player for the Lakers.
Right.
And as a backup, 10, 12 minutes a game. Remember, he doesn't have to play much. Bam's going to play 30 to 35 minutes a game, right? So he has to play 10, 12 minutes. Thomas Bryant could fill that role. And obviously we saw what Orlando Robinson did this summer. Yes, it's just summer league, but we've seen growth. He's shooting the 3 a little better. He seems to be getting better defensively and just learning to be in the right spots and growing in that area. So he's another guy that can fill that role as well. So they have 2, and those 2 guys, reliable options that you could turn to back up Bam. And then you have Kevin Love, Kevin Love is another option to back up Bam, as more of a small ball center, but he could do it, stretch the floor.
I hope they pace him, dude. See, last year, here's where this is what I fear about Kevin Love, and I want to warn everybody ahead of time. Sorry, I'm going to be, the sad sack here and bring some negativity to all of this. And I don't mean to do it, but you know what I'm going to be talking about now. And you're going to understand what I'm talking about, but nobody has talked about this. We got a fresh Kevin Love last year.
Yeah.
They saved his ass in Cleveland. Yeah. They didn't want him. They didn't use him that first half. And his body was fresh. And yet, when he got here, he played a lot of minutes and then started to get kind of worn down and banged up a little bit. Well, now you're going to start the beginning of the year with him. Do not expect to use him the same amount that you used him last year. He will not last the season that way. I think you've got to be really smart with Kevin Love and pace him. And he's the kind of guy that you're going to have to give him some days off.
Sure.
If you want to have him available at the end of the year and in the playoffs, and you want to have his veteran and his smarts and his passing and all that, I don't know about you, dude, but I'd be very cautious. I'd use a lot of caution with his minutes, especially in the first half of the season. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I was about to say that before you mentioned it. That's a very, very good point. I mean, Kevin Love for about a month or two before he got to Miami barely played.
Yeah.
And he's obviously a year older this year, and to think he's going to play 25 minutes a night for 82 games, that's not realistic for this point of his career.
Nope.
Now, a question is, would you start him? Because he is a logical guy to start a power forward.
No, I am not starting him.
I don't disagree with you, but if you do, I think it's kind of like a Luke Babbitt role where maybe it's 10 minutes a half in the beginning of the first quarter, and you kind of try to monitor his minutes that way. Plays about 20 minutes a game, and maybe you do it like that if you want to be the starter. But I think you have to pace him. And if they do get Damian Lillard and they are a very, very good team, they probably will have that luxury of saying, okay, we're going to sit these two guys on the second night of back-to-back, but we still have Dame and Bam available, so we should still win. Or we still have Jimmy and Bam available, so so they might have that luxury to sit a few guys on those in those situations where they're playing 3 games in 4 nights, or they're on a back-to-back on the road. They might be that good where they're able to do that and still get away with it.
Come on, Anthony. They're not going for Damian Lillard anymore. We're going for Antetokounmpo now. Come on, let's go. The
question is, Big O, after what we've seen from Nico, and I don't think we've seen it because we haven't got up at 4 a.m, but what we've seen from Nico in the World Cup last few weeks, if Portland says we want Tyler and Nikola Jovic, would you do that deal? Or do you think
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can have Nikola Jovic. Yeah. Trade him. I want Jaquez.
Okay.
Jovic is too young still, bro. You need to make a run now. I need a veteran. I need an older player. Give me Jaime Jaquez. They can have Nikola Jovic. I know that he's looking nice and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
he's 20.
Yeah, he's still young and he's not playing against NBA right now.
No, that's the argument for doing that deal. Regardless of what we've seen the last few weeks, is Jimmy's window is right now, right? Dame's window, if you get him, is right now. You got to go for it in these next 2 or 3.
Remember what I just told you about Caleb?
Yeah,
dude, I feel the same way with Jaime Jaquez. What I like about Caleb, what I like about Jaquez, these are crafty mofos. These are guys that can find their shot. These are guys that can attack the rim, that can pass, that can shoot. And what I like about Jaquez is that he's old. He's already an adult now at this point, and I think he's better suited overall to contribute right now. So if I'm going to have to give up a young guy, I've told this to Ira, and I'll tell you, I'm giving up Jovic because I think Jaquez is mentally better suited right now and physically to help Miami in a playoff run and a championship run. And plus, if I have issues with Jimmy and injury, I really like Caleb and Jaquez kind of filling that role of that dude. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to it's impossible to replace Jimmy Butler, but I like Caleb and Jaquez kind of giving me what I can't get from Jimmy at the moment if he needs to rest or he's sidelined with something.
The argument against that, and I'm not saying I disagree with you, but the argument against that point is the Heat has pretty much the leverage, right? So the Heat could say, you want Jovic and Hero? I don't, we're not including Jovic. We'll give you Hero. We'll give you a certain amount of picks and, another salary to make it work, like Kyle, who's an expiring or something like that, or Duncan. But we're not going to give you Hero and Jovic. You have to pick one.
Right.
And
if you could be that ruthless, more power to you, baby.
I mean, that's kind of where things stand, right? Because the Heat are like, we're not going to improve our offer right now. Who are we bidding against?
Nobody. Right.
There's nobody. Right. But does it get to a certain point where the Heat say, well, we need to get this done? So so I don't know what that line is for them, but the argument against including Jovic at this point, especially after what we've seen the last few weeks, or including both Hero and Jovic in the deal, is who are the Heat really bidding against? Do they really need to get rid of both of those guys to get Dame?
Oh, no.
That's what we're going to find out.
If that's the case, that's fine. I'm just going about if you're forced to have to give up one, that's who I'm giving up. If I have to give up Jovic or Jaquez, I'm giving Jovic up over Jaquez. Yeah. That's all. Just, what I'm saying. But dude, knowing Riley, he's going to play a little bit of hard line. Of course, they're not bidding against anybody. This guy doesn't want to go anywhere except Miami, and the entire league knows it. All the GMs know it. I mean, if he was really available, everybody would be calling.
Sure.
Not everybody, but the
Right,
three,
right.
four
A
teams
handful
that
of
are
teams for sure.
Damian
Yeah.
Lillard away from being a championship, 3, 4, 5. They would all be. There would be a bidding war, but there is no bidding war because he doesn't want to go anywhere except Miami.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with the Heat on this one. If that thinking is better than anything else, if you don't have to give him up, fantastic, dude.
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
we'll see who caves first, right? If Portland will give in first, or if the Heat will say we
And
can't.
if it doesn't happen, then we've got to deal with the craziness of the Antetokounmpo crap for the next year.
It'll never end. With the Heat, it just never ends.
No,
It's
it
always
doesn't.
the
It
next
doesn't
guy.
never end. Yeah, Heat and Dolphin fans, they want to buy. And now Inter fans are the same way too. Inter fans have gotten there too now.
They got a little spoiled already now too. It's funny.
They're already spoiled now. They
I don't know
want
if
to
you
buy every player.
I don't know if you get these emails as well, but I always get emails, especially for the NBA, of betting odds for which team a guy is going to be traded to or signed with. And I think the NFL, I think some Dolphins already mentioned it as well. Everybody, even if the Heat have no cap space, Zach LaVine, top team, the Heat. The Heat are always in the top of the list. And I'm guessing the Dolphins now these days are as well.
Right.
Who is this guy to land with? The Dolphins. So it's just there's a reason for that. It's because they're aggressive and they're always going to try to be in the mix. So it's a good thing if you're a fan.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Every time there's somebody, Chris Greer's talking to him. It's like, damn, dude, come on. It's the same thing. So I know the Antetokounmpo, that already started with me. I'm getting in my DMs all over oh, no, we got to go after Antetokounmpo. And I'm like, you don't even know if he's going to be available, dude.
Yeah.
Go get Lillard now.
Let's get through the Lillard saga first. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's get
No,
through
the
that
Lillard
first.
saga's what I think with Lillard, I think you got a shot at a title, man. I really do, because you got the best coach on the planet, bro.
They made the NBA Finals without Damian Lillard. So if they get Damian Lillard, and Tyler Hero's a good player, but like you said, they made the NBA Finals without Tyler Hero last year.
Twice.
If they add Damian Lillard,
they've made it twice without him in 4 years.
Well, Eastern Conference Finals the year before, but yes.
No, in 4 years, I said they've made it twice without him. So they've made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Finals 4 times, 2 each, without him. I mean, give me a break, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, they obviously nothing's guaranteed and health will play a role, but they're either the favorite in the East if they get Dame, or one of the favorites, right?
At least
Milwaukee,
one,
in Boston, I guess, but they're in that class for sure.
Oh man, that'll be absolutely amazing. Anything else? Anything on the injury front or anything that we got to be concerned about with the Heat?
No, I mean things are really, really quiet. Obviously, Jovic is playing for Serbia. He's playing really well. He's the only Heat player participating in the World Cup. Eric Spoelstra is over there as an assistant coach for Team USA. Other than that, I think things will start to pick up now after Labor Day as far as guys. You'll see more clips of guys working out at the arena and all that because, camp is about a month away. It's crazy, but it's we'll be watching basketball very soon.
I can't wait, dude. Can't wait. Had a lot of fun watching the summer league, and can't wait for the NBA season. It's going to be a lot of fun. Although the tournament, that in season tournament, bro.
Don't get me started on that.
God, I mean, seriously, dude. They don't. The regular season's not as important. You're also going to throw in a tournament. It's like the players don't even play in the regular season. Your stars don't even show up for the entire season. You're not going to add a tournament. It's really baffling to me. You're not soccer, dude.
Yeah.
You're not soccer.
I'm initially not a fan, but I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to see what it's like this first few years, and let's see. But initially, I agree with you, Big O.
Here's what I anticipate, my brother. The Orlando Magic or the Washington Wizards or, a team like that wins one of that tournament, they're happy.
Yeah.
They're happy because they accomplished something because their franchises never accomplish anything. But if the Heat or the Lakers or the Warriors or, these teams that they're not even satisfied being in the conference finals. They need to be in the finals or winning it all. Those kind of teams, man, they don't give a crap about this in-season tournament stuff. And their fan bases, which are spoiled, they're not going to be bragging about some stupid in-season tournament. This is good for teams that probably never make it or never do anything.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Maybe that's what the point of it, right? Is just generating interest among those teams that feel like they don't have a chance for an NBA title.
Right.
Well, if you get hot during this month, all of a sudden you have a chance at a trophy, right? So maybe that's the point of it. Maybe it's not for the Heat where the Heat are competing for something bigger. Maybe it's for the other half of the league that feel like, you know, they don't have a shot at the NBA title. So maybe you just hit on the head. But yeah, my initial thought was, especially for me personally, selfishly, where we don't know what the schedule is going to look like for one of the weeks, and I don't know where I'm going to be or where, you know, I can't make plans or I can't make reservations. It just makes things very complicated logistically. So,
well, the good thing is that the Miami Herald pays for the traveling, so that's a good thing, you know.
Good
so
point. It's a very
those
good point.
that flight that you have to get on short notice that's going to be really expensive. Well, the Miami Herald's going to have to foot the bill on that one. So
Herald is probably not a fan of the tournament either. Then
that's it exactly. The Herald and whoever handles the budget is a little pissed off about that. Follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang. What are you working on in the Miami Herald, my friend, so folks can check you out?
Well, I've been off this week, but I'll be back next week. Just recapping what's been going on in the World Cup and kind of previewing these different decisions left for the Heat this offseason. I mean, we just spoke about it, right? Like they have 13 guys in their roster as they wait for the Damian Lillard thing to play out. 13 guys on standard contracts. They need to add at least one more before the start of the regular season, which again, that could come through a trade. We'll see. They have some guarantee dates in Orlando Robinson's contract, which we expect that they'll guarantee at this point. But there are some looming things that they still need to take care of before the start of the season. So I'll be kind of listing those next week along with the World Cup recaps.
All right, good stuff there. Anthony, as always, appreciate you and welcome aboard starting next week. Anthony Chiang will be with us twice a week talking some Heat basketball. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. Have a great weekend, and I hope you feel better because I know you're in the middle of recovering.
Thanks, Big O. Looking forward to being on regularly again and have a good long weekend.
You got it, my friend. You be good. There you go. Anthony Chiang, baby, of the Miami Herald, talking a little basketball. He's, a lot of these guys that I've known for a long time, like Anthony will come on with me all the time, whenever I want. You know what I mean? He'll come on. He's always gracious with his time, but I don't like to abuse relationships like that. And so I like to make it a business. And here we go. And we thank the great people at BaptistHealth.net. They have stepped up. They're part of our platform. And Safedine and Anthony Chiang have joined us thanks to them. And I think